I
I'm not
know
someone that
of.
holds on to.
Yeah, but obviously in what we do, we see a lot of people that are stuck.
It's
Mm.
hard to talk about something that you don't relate to, though. I'll let you go then. I don't.
Um,
I'm not
I don't
someone
know
that
if
really
this
holds on
story
to.
counts. The one where we watched that documentary that time, where the woman videoed her friend. She said her friend had 9 different personalities, and each of those different personalities was a place where she had trauma. So she was stuck in those different places where she had trauma at 5. So she resorted, those moments she would turn into this 5-year-old. And I mean, that's an
I
extreme
never
case.
watched that. What's that?
Yeah, you did.
I did. I watched it.
You watched it when
Huh?
you were little. We were at Tenbury Lane. I remember.
Mum, how old was I at Tenbury Lane?
Huh?
You think I'm remember a documentary you walked into Tenbury Lane?
I remember things when I
Like
was
20
5.
years ago.
Yeah.
I remember things when I was
Like, you
five.
watched it?
Do you remember when she was demon possessed?
How do you remember I watched that?
Because we were all watching it.
Why did you let me watch that?
And we were like, look.
I want to talk about
And-
trauma that my mum used to make me watch stuff like that.
Oh, do you know about trauma that Granny used to make me watch this?
There you go.
program
Shall we
called
start?
Do you know the Ants one? Do you remember the Ants one?
Ants, the cartoon?
No, it was like a film. Granny used to watch some mad stuff, you know.
No, Granny, I never
She
forget.
used to watch a lot of
She used to
horrors.
watch-
Can we properly start then? Because now we're all like, it's all coming to the surface.
Yeah, your Granny used to watch this. I don't know. It's just films used to come on TNT.
No, so there was
Remember?
there was one. I think it actually was a horror movie. Granny used to really be into
I used
horror.
to tell her off
What, the
about
bug
it was
man?
that.
called.
Man
I'll
turned
never
to the
forget.
bug.
It's called Flowers in the Attic.
Oh,
my
I've heard of that. I
gosh.
think I saw that.
She
I
Flowers
watched
in
it
the
at Granny's.
Attic. I don't
You
know.
watched
I
it at
don't
Granny's?
remember what it's about, but I remember being so scared.
I remember Flowers in the Attic. I can't remember what it's about.
I remember
I'll have to
telling Mum
Google
off.
it.
I used to
don't
tell her
know.
off. I'm like, can you stop watching
She
horror
used to love
movies with my
horror.
kids?
Yeah, because it used to
That
come
was
on
that
at
was
night
her thing.
when we was in bed. Obviously, it used to be cartoon. Do you remember
Yeah,
the
and
cable?
she'd have you lot in the bed with her
It was
watching
Cartoon
horror
Network,
movies.
and then after I think a certain time it changed to TNT. And she used to watch. There's one film I remember. It was like ants, and the guy had a big you know the like an ant farm in your. It's like the
Oh,
glass
wow.
in your house. Whatever.
Okay.
And it's ant. There's one ant that's got like overgrown and like it got out, ate the people in the house, and then there's another one with spiders.
I've just
Arachnophobia or
just
something.
googled. I've just googled flowers in the attic, and it says why were flowers in the attic so controversial? The depiction of incest between an adolescent brother and sister.
Oh, Mum, what's
Oh,
that?
I was traumatized.
There you go.
Oh
There's your
my
trauma.
gosh.
Yeah, gosh.
Oh my days.
Wow.
I remember I always used to have a go at her, and I think that's when she stopped, because when you lot used to tell me what she made you watch, what you watch with her, and I remember saying to her, Mum, you cannot have my kids watching horror movies. Yeah, but that was her thing. She loved, she loved horror movies. But when you think about trauma,
Yeah.
there's a lot of people that are stuck because of trauma, different things that happen. Sometimes it's like the trauma of a boyfriend or, cheating on you, a breakup, and some people get stuck, and they can't move on from that individual. And while that person's moved on, they're still like mulling over.
I think though with holding on to things, I think that the reason why I don't do that and I don't sit in those places is because I know how unhealthy that is in terms of your actual health and well-being, and what it does to you. I don't think a lot of people realize that when you hold on to like unforgiveness or you don't move past a certain point, it actually impacts your actual inner health, your mental health, etc. And I think that it's the equivalent of, if you were to drive a car and you were constantly looking behind you rather than in front of you, it's only a matter of time before you're going to be in a car accident. And I think that when you live your life in such a way where you're constantly looking behind and living in a place of regret, or even not even in a place of regret, because I think sometimes as well, yes, there's people that don't let go of things, but I think as well there's a lot of people that don't live in the here and the now. So we're very much a society that wants to be constantly moving on to the next thing. And I think that as a result, we've got people that just don't enjoy the house that they're living in. They don't enjoy their kids. They don't enjoy their marriage. They don't enjoy their jobs, because their mind is never actually fully present with what's here and now. And I think the reality is you can't change your past if you grew up in a really abusive home, or you came out of a really abusive relationship or whatever, but you can actually live in the present and take control of what today says. And I very much see my life as like a book that I write in every day, and I'm very conscious of making sure that what I read back is something that I want to read. And if there's we done something called Rewritten, where we spoke about taking your pen back, and the thing with trauma is it's like someone else takes the pen of your life and starts scribbling all over it. And and then you now end up with this book that is just full of stuff that you don't want to read. And the only way to kind of get back is take the pen back. And there's so many people where someone's abused them, or someone's mistreated them, or someone's betrayed them, but they leave them with the pen. So even though,
or they put the pen down,
and
there's no,
exactly,
there's no
and so
further story.
if someone's got to write, and I think that's what people don't understand, that whether I'm the one writing or someone else is writing, someone's writing, because your life keeps on moving, it keeps on going, it doesn't stay stagnant. And so what most people do that get stuck in trauma and stuck in the past is we leave people with that pen. And so we respond from their narrative. So if they always told us that we were no good, if they always told us that we were too skinny or too fat, if they always, if they sexually abused you or whatever it might be, as long as we keep allowing that to dictate our path, they're holding our pen. And the only way to move forward is take your pen back. Yes, I was abused. Yes, I was sexually assaulted. Yes, I was had terrible parents. Yes, whatever it might be. But you know what? I'm going to actually turn that around. And it reminds me of, I don't know if you know in America where they have the kids, when a child goes missing on the milk cartons. So I watched a documentary ages ago, so I might be misquoting it slightly. But that came from their son being taken, sexually assaulted and murdered. And so they made a point where we're going to make it that, if a child goes missing, everybody can have eyes on that as quickly as possible. And they basically changed the entire law because for them, there was I think it was he had to be gone for a certain amount of time, and they lost so much time. And basically they changed the law because of their trauma that they went through. And obviously what they went through was horrendous, and no one should ever go through that. But that's an example of taking your pen back. Does that make sense? Because what they're doing is they're taking control of their story. And even that lady that's on the news where her husband, I don't know if you've seen it, Dom, where her husband drugged her and had men rape her.
We talked about
so
that.
basically the story is they've been married for 50 years, so it's like mum and dad, right? They've been married for 50 years. They've got 3 grown-up children like us, everything. Actually is they met when they were very young. I think they were 21 when they got married, something like that. So they've been together their whole lives. And in the last 10 years, what he was doing is he was putting drugs, almost like sedatives in her food. So she would basically become comatose, and when she was completely comatose, he had a website where it was without her knowledge or something, and men could basically, he never got money for it either.
Oh,
so
he didn't get paid.
He didn't get paid. No,
wow.
It was just
we were sure that he was.
No, he wasn't getting paid. It was just literally for his sick pleasure. And over, I think it's he filmed all of them, and there's over 80 or 90 men that have raped her. She has no recollection. So she actually thought that she had Alzheimer's or she had a brain tumor, because she'd obviously keep blacking out. and she'd have no recollection. So she actually stopped driving. She was scared to go on the train. She's scared to go anywhere by herself, even to go see her kids, because she thought there's something wrong with me. She went to see specialists. He went with her to see specialists or whatever. And then he had very strict instructions.
Is this a film yet, or has this just happened?
No, this is in court now.
Yeah.
wow.
So there's 50 men they've been able to identify.
How did
It's in France.
they find out?
So they found out because
He was taking videos
he
or
was in a
pictures.
supermarket and he was filming up women's skirts. So the security guard saw him and called the police. So the police, thank goodness they were like diligent police, because some police are just idiots. And they basically raided his home and seized all of his electronics. And then when they seized his electronics, that's when they found all the footage of his wife. And she's just literally like a rag doll, basically. And what he would do is he would get the men to, they weren't allowed to wear aftershave. They had to warm their hands. Like, I think he actually made them have a warm bath first, so that she basically wouldn't be woken up. And then when they were finished, he would wipe her down. He raped her as well. He did as well.
Oh my God.
And he would wipe her down so that obviously there's no evidence. It was so methodical. He even got them to undress in the kitchen, so there was no chance of them leaving any of their personal belongings at the scene, like, you know, a belt or a shoe or whatever. And so this went on for 10 years. All this time she's thinking that she's sick and there's something wrong with her. Like, so they done a MRI. They were like, you don't have a brain tumor. She went to get assessed for Alzheimer's. They said, you don't have Alzheimer's. So she was just like, there's something wrong with me. I don't know what it is. And then the point I'm making is that she could have basically stayed anonymous, because, and then the court case would have happened and no one would have known about it. But this again is about like something so incredibly traumatic. It's the worst case rape case in the history of the world. And it's done by your husband.
That's crazy. And
she's chosen to fight back. Like, she's out, you know, because she's like, I want to give a voice to every woman. She's like taking her power back, and she's like, there might be other women who this is happening to, where, like me, they think there's something wrong with me, or I'm sick or whatever. And, you know, if just seeing this is a sign to be like, hold on a minute, wait, like, this isn't normal. And so I say that to say that we all have opportunities in the most traumatic of ways to make a decision.
I get why she done that, in the sense of it's either do that or you allow it to consume you and you stay in the darkness of no one knows. But you dealing with that every day is harder than putting it out in the world.
That would be such a black hole to fall into.
Well, imagine just finding out, like,
I mean, that's
you're at the police station with your husband and they're like,
it's like, you know, my whole life has been a lie.
Can you imagine? That's like dad. Like, that's like your.
I would be. 50 years. It's like, how do you?
That could finish you. But
well, they've got 2 sons and a daughter.
Well, the other part was as well.
Wait, are they his?
He took. But he somehow managed to take pictures of the daughter.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, he took pictures, so that's like finished his family.
Yeah.
As a grown up.
What happened to this man for him to even?
He said that he was, again, choice. So he said that he was raped by a male nurse when he was 9 years old, and he allowed that to cause him to succumb to perversion, basically. And it's something that he basically just entertained and fueled or whatever, unbeknown to his wife. So the children are his because he's only been doing this for the last 10 years. Okay, so they're adult children. Okay. So thank God. But one of the guys that actually raped her had HIV and AIDS.
Oh no.
So she fortunately has tested negative. But I mean, and she had like all this gynecological problems. Obviously she was getting all these sexually transmitted diseases, but she obviously doesn't know what it is. So all these things are happening to her body. Her body's obviously rejecting the trauma of this, but she's completely oblivious. And she said she only found the courage to watch the footage in March or May this year.
Nah,
and
even- I
she's
think-
watching herself getting sexually
I
assaulted.
don't know if yeah, watching
That's
that must be.
crazy.
But
But then she's still got to walk through forgiveness now. So, like you said,
Well, that's
taking
a
the pen
long road.
back, that's going to be hard.
But how do you get? Okay, I understand he was like or molested at 9 years old, but how do you translate that to almost not even selling your wife, but like you know what I mean? It's just like
Yeah.
treating her like a I don't even know
who
what. Like,
thinks of that though?
but how do you do that? And then
Yeah.
daytime you're acting like.
But you know,
don't
is
understand.
that a thing as well? Because I know somebody who the husband just wanted to be able to go off and
What is that, a power thing then?
I don't know, because you got guys who'll put drugs in women's drinks at parties and stuff, and you have that date rape. But this one, I mean, she was married to him, but he wanted to be able to go off and do whatever he wanted to do over the weekend. So he put it in her food, and she was out for the whole weekend, so he could go off and.
I don't know. I think this just only confirms why I don't trust anyone. Because
Have you guys ever been spiked?
yes, I have in Miami.
I've been spiked before.
Really?
Yeah.
Someone put something in your drink.
Yeah.
How did you know? And
Because I don't
It's
drink.
just it's like
so
it
how
happens
did you
very-
know it was in there?
I didn't. It's only
It's how you
because
feel.
of the. So I don't drink. I don't like alcohol. If I'm on holiday, I will just maybe have like a cocktail, like like a pina colada or nothing that's going to intoxicate you in any way. And that's why I knew straight away.
Oh,
so
you
I'd had
tasted
like
it?
so I'd had like I think it was like a pina colada or something like that. Like nothing that would ever make you feel drunk or anything like that. And immediately, like I could feel my body, and I don't put anything in my body. So if you put anything in my body, it reacts
happens-
straight
you
away.
can feel it happening very
You can
quick.
you can
Yeah.
feel it happening
So
straight
what did
away.
you do?
So I was with Shika.
Yeah.
So I was with my friend Shika, and I said to them, I need to go outside. I knew I needed to move from where I was.
Yeah.
And I said, I need to go outside, and I started vomiting straight
Okay.
away. And I remember very clearly there was a man there while I was vomiting that was trying to talk to me.
Oh, really?
But I was with my friends.
Yeah.
And I just said to them, don't leave me, put me in a taxi, take me back to the hotel. Again, I'm one of those
Trying to
people where my
think,
brain,
yeah.
I'm like, it was like I was trying to grab hold of my mind.
Yeah.
Like, because I could feel
So
it.
come
like,
on, get together, like
you
because you're
could
not
feel
like
it, yeah.
in your mind you're still.
So what did you? What happened?
I was
to
at a house party. I was just drinking like a little rum and ginger beer, but it's just one drink I had.
Yeah.
I know there's nothing like
Yeah.
it wasn't even like strong, or whatever.
Mm.
And then I just feel like like almost feel like the room's closing and everything's getting
Yeah.
dark.
Yeah.
Wow.
So I was like walking towards the bathroom trying to get in there like quick. And as I got in there, I locked the door, and then I just literally passed out like
Oh
on
my
the floor like for a
gosh.
second, and then like luckily I had my friends there
Yeah.
at the place. So I was like, once I like gathered myself a little bit, I wasn't like fully back. I was like,
Yeah.
oh, I knew someone's put something in my drink.
Yeah.
I was like, take me to my car, just so I could like get out of that
Yeah.
Yeah.
Whoever
Place.
has done
Yeah,
it,
obviously
it's
I
like,
don't know
want to get
who's-
them away from
like whatever. So I like went in my car. I was like, they made sure I was in my car, locked the doors, and I just
So
slept.
would that have been another guy? I mean, because my
Hey,
brain
God
is
forbid.
like,
Yeah.
why would you spike a man?
Yeah,
I don't
that
know, so
guy
women
that
do it
the
too,
other
you know?
day. It's
Yeah, that's what I
horrendous.
mean. Who does that?
This guy, they done it. He was a father of like 2 kids. They done it to him. 2 guys took him and raped him and
Oh
killed
my
him.
gosh.
Actually,
Yeah.
I went. Oh gosh, this is probably about 12 years ago. Was out at some party, or whatever. But there's one girl we knew that was there, but she's like stumbling out with one guy. Like the guy was carrying her,
Yeah.
and he just looked off.
Yeah.
Did you
So,
lot
so we was like, yeah,
intervene?
like, oh, we was like, oh, we know her. Like, we'll take her home, innit? And he was like, oh, like almost like,
You're just like
yeah, like you're
interrupted
interfering
my
on.
plan.
Literally, I got her out. He's outside the venue, and we literally like dropped her home because obviously God knows what
Wow.
could have happened that night. But it just
Wow.
looked very like she's just like legless, like couldn't walk, eyes
Yeah.
enough closed,
Yeah.
and it's just this guy like taking her wherever he was taking her
Wow.
And
back
then
to the car. or
and,
whatever.
and the thing
That's
that's
so
really bad
scary.
with it is
And she was
that
out for like a day
you
and a
go
half.
you
I
go
think.
in and out of
Wow, that's
consciousness.
drugs then.
Yeah, so
Because
you
you
go,
don't go out. You're not unconscious for
Yeah.
a day now.
No,
It's
and
drugs.
so you go in and out of consciousness. So I remember like I remember very clearly like moments. So I'd like wake up and then I'd like go back again, and then I'd wake up. So in that moment where you wake up, you remember everything that's happening, and then but then you go back
Your
out
body's
and
just
you've got no control of your body.
Wow.
So it's like you're fighting your way out, but you can't get out.
That's scary.
Wait, did you ever watch that TV show? What's it called? The guy had the stalker. It's like an English thing. What's it called? It was on like Netflix. So this guy's a comedian.
Yeah.
And he had this stalker girl that was she was on the news as well.
Stalking's a really serious thing, you know. Like I was speaking to my hairdressers, and she was saying, the receptionist was saying that she has a stalker, and I was like, oh my gosh, yeah. And she's like, oh, I have to go to court, and I was like, why? Like, what happened?
Baby Reindeer it's called.
Yeah. And then she basically said that this guy has literally been. It started where she went out, just to like go to Marks and Spencer's or whatever, and he stopped her and was like, "Oh, you're really beautiful," you know. And she's just being polite. She's like, "Oh, thank you," whatever. And then he basically started sitting outside the salon every single day, just basically staring in. And then what did he do that made her really freak out? I think he came in to the actual salon, and she was like, "This is ridiculous now." So she reported it, but then when she reported it, she found out that he actually was accused of doing it to someone else, but he actually sexually assaulted her as well. So she was now like really freaked out.
So how did she get that information so quickly? Because usually when you report to the police, they don't usually.
So the police, that's when, because the police's response, they were like, oh, like this is basically, they escalated it very quickly.
Yeah.
And she was like, oh, like that's a bit strange.
Yeah, because that's unusual.
Yeah, and then
like
because he was known to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the point I'm making is, like, you know, there are people that are out there that are just not mentally well, and I think you just have to be really, really and I think for me with the woman who her husband obviously got men to come, I just wonder, like, there's no signs, like, I don't know, maybe because I just don't trust people. I don't know if I could ever get to that place of just completely trusting like I think if I started blacking out all the time,
even after
I would
internally
start
you'd know
putting
something's
a
wrong now.
connection to it, like every time I ate.
What did he give her?
Does that make sense? After I've eaten, every time I'm blacking out. Does that make sense? I think I watch way too much true crime. I'd be like
over 10 years there'll be a pattern.
Yeah,
right?
do you know what I mean?
It's like, why is it?
Then you'd be scared to eat, because if I know.
But then on the other side,
I don't remember nothing.
Not even that. The fact that. So did she not go away in the 10 years and it didn't happen like over a period?
But he was always with her, innit? It's like mum and dad.
Yeah, but it can't be that
he done it. No, because there was two different locations.
But it couldn't have
been.
So
they moved address, and he continued.
It couldn't have been every day. So it must have been, you know, because 10 years, you talk. You know, if you divide that by the 18.
But he went on the stand and he was like, "Yep, I did it. I'm guilty. I'm a rapist."
Oh.
Yeah, he was like,
no remorse.
Yeah, he claimed he
100%.
He said everyone in this room is a rapist. He owned it. Yeah,
that is a mental problem.
No, and he was like, you know, she didn't deserve it. I should never have done that to her. Wow. Like he knows that what he did was wrong.
So why you got remorse now? You got caught.
Well, on one side, it sounds like he hasn't got remorse.
Not remorse, but like saying she didn't deserve it.
Like, I don't know, his version of love. Like, you've spent 50 years married to someone.
Crazy.
Like, for her, she's like, how do I ever rebuild my life? Like, everything she's ever known, she said after 50 years, she walked away with a suitcase. Wow. Like, that's for me, like,
you've invested,
the scary thing. 50
you've invested
years. Like, you and Dad are celebrating 50 years.
Could you even I don't think anyone, to get married again or even to have a relationship after
you
that.
Wouldn't.
Like,
no. You know, that's where, even as much as you may have the pen, there's that big trust issue.
Yeah.
I know for me, it would never be, my story would not include having a partner again.
But even just walking down the street and someone you're walking past could have been one of the people
Well,
that
that's
even.
what
That's what she said.
Yeah,
so she
but
said
that's
that,
what trauma does. You know, like when I had, remember the girl that was
Because
stalking.
they could recognize you don't recognize them.
Well, this is it. I mean, I was fortunate with that girl. I knew what she looked like, but I didn't know where she would be because it got to the place where when she was stalking, for those that don't know, there was a girl that used to stalk me, and she found out that where we lived. I guess she just literally walked every street. She knew.
But didn't she like change their name to?
Yeah,
She changed her name to
Danielle Goodman.
her surname to Goodman. Everything. She even went and sent
A dead rabbit.
keychain.
Yeah,
Well,
dead
yeah,
rabbit.
we didn't get to rabbit just yet. It was a keychain with our dogs.
Yeah.
She went to Harrods and got the keychain with the dogs. You know, you can put a picture in them. And I think she sent it to me. And I remember thinking, because immediately it's that alarm bells go off.
That's a bit off.
And I immediately, she found out where I lived and turned up at the gate. And I remember we had someone outside and she tried to come in, and they said, they came in and told me this girl's outside. And I'm like, okay, how did she find out where I live? And there was no problems up until that point. And then she sent a note, and I didn't reply to the note. I actually there was no address. So it was like, how do you reply anyway? There's no address on the note. But then I got another note because she got angered by the fact that I didn't respond. And this one was written in red, and it just kept escalating. But that first night, she went and found her way around the back of the house and was sitting and watching the house in the dark.
Crazy.
She could see the movements of everyone in the different rooms.
Well, do you remember how that house was? You could probably see
was
quite a
very
lot.
open.
My curtains were always open.
No, but just even through the conservatory, that was like where we always were anyway.
Yeah, it's all open.
Space.
It's very visual.
Yeah,
Like,
but
especially
also
with
because
at
we
night.
were on the golf course, like you weren't really like bothered about, you know,
You
like
don't think she
closing
climbed the
your
fence
blinds
or
or
sitting in the
whatever.
garden?
That's what I'm saying. That,
Were you just in
but
the-
then the reason why
in the
she could see
shrubs?
clear into
Thanks,
that's so
Dom.
scary.
In mum's garden.
But but that was like so traumatizing because you were like, if I go out and is she hiding behind the shade, like you say, is she hiding behind a
Yeah, it
bush?
got to the point where no one wanted to go
She
in
in
the
your
garden.
car?
No one wanted to go in the garden at night when we came
Even
home.
going out to your car
I
at
remember
night?
just like driving straight into the garage. But what if you don't have that? And you know, it was always like you're looking in the dark for anyone lurking because you've got to make it to your front door to get inside. And it escalated to the point where she was now sending.
Didn't the postman
dead-
like put it in a bag?
They had
it was
to
leaking
because
with blood?
leaking,
the
yeah.
blood and everything was leaking
and
from
pants,
the dead rabbit.
like knickers or something.
But she had opened the rabbit and,
Like
and
facial
took
attraction.
out its intestines. And so it was this dead rabbit with
We
no
found it on the golf
intestines.
course.
But for me, it was like, okay, this is another level because from the time you can kill something, because I could see
That's the next. You know what next step is,
you had
right?
to have killed the rabbit. Someone had to kill the rabbit, and the fact that you didn't just kill the rabbit, but you've opened it, removed its intestines.
That's the
Most
first
people
step.
would be so grossed out. You couldn't even do that, you know. And you know that's where serial killers all start. So for me, that was like an escalation, and there was a dead fish. It was a dead fish, dead rabbit. You know, it's like,
And
okay,
underwear.
this is a very strong message.
With writing on. Did she have writing on it?
On
or-
this big granny knickers, she'd written like swear words and all kinds of profanity.
That's when
And
they
I remember
switched,
calling the police on that occasion, and they started laughing, you know, when they saw the knickers and everything. I said, "Excuse me, I do know the law when it comes to stalking. I know the new stalking laws because they're just updated the stalking laws, and that's when they took me seriously. When I'm like, this isn't even funny. I'm scared to, you know." You're just nervous about you should feel safe in your home, and it began to have some kind of control over your life because now you're scared. You guys were probably nervous as well to go in the back garden. And then they approached her because they were like, oh, we can't do anything unless we give her a warning first. I'm like, so you're waiting for her to kill me before you actually do something?
So what, did she go to medical?
She ended up
No,
in a
when
mental institution.
I think I think one of the boxes had an address on it, had her name, so gave the police the details. When they looked her up, she did have a psychiatric history background, which was unknown to me. And they gave her the warning. I think they said if she comes near me or within a certain distance, then they would arrest her.
She gets out next month, isn't
Thanks.
it? 1 month is it?
But it's just that, you know, you have to make a decision that you are not now going to like lock yourself in your house, because I could have gone a different direction, and I've had different situations that has been traumatic, and I made a decision that other people are not going to control my life or govern how I live, because I'm not going to live in the fear or in the shadow of what someone's done to me. And it could be anything, you know. It could be that it's not necessarily a scary situation, but it could be that somebody, you know, you broke up with somebody, or someone died, someone was murdered. You know, you've got those, and so many people get stuck there, you know, and they're grieving. But there has to be, in your book that you're writing, every chapter comes to an end. Every chapter has an end before you go into a new chapter. So how long are you going to stay on chapter 1?
Well, it's like, I feel like if you're stuck in the past, you allow your past to become your present. If you're always bringing, you're dragging this thing that should have been disposed of a long time ago. It's always going to be, it's like the shackles on your ankle. It's always going to
keep you.
Yes, you're not going to be able to get to the next point quicker than
do you
if
think
you
there's
just let
some
things go.
trauma that you can't get over?
I think there's things that don't leave your mind, or you know, you get reminded of every day, but that's part of the power of, you know, dealing with those things.
I think there's some trauma that alters you forever, and I think that what you need to do is take control of what that alteration looks like.
Yeah, I mean, it can alter you in a positive way as
That's
well.
what I'm saying.
If you take
so,
the negative intent to a positive.
like, I think there's some trauma that you're never gonna be who you were prior. So it's like you almost need to now redefine or rewrite what that is.
I think that's with anything really that is very impactful in your life.
Yeah.
You can either make it a negative or a positive.
Yeah.
You know, it's like even like when I got stabbed or something, like when I was 19, I could have either, you know, lived in fear my whole life, or I could have turned the opposite and, you know, retaliated and ended up in jail, or you know, there's so many. It's like a cross point when you go to certain parts of your life, and depending on what road you choose or what outcome you want, you might not even be thinking about what outcome in the long term, but how you react or how you deal with those situations can lead you down many different roads. And I think it's even in people that get stuck on living in the future, like, you know, say they want to be a singer or they want to have this in life, and they get stuck on this point in their whole life and it doesn't happen.
Yeah.
And then it's a thing where you've lived your whole life expecting this thing that you never lived.
Never catch it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And then that's when people like either have mental breakdowns or, you know, like there's my friend's brother, he was a semi-pro footballer, played football for, you know, his whole life. That was his life. He was going to be a footballer. And then I think he got injury and then he got dropped from the team. His friends went on to play professional football, and he started like smoking weed and stuff, which I think his family history doesn't obviously deal with that. So he had weed-induced psychosis, and, you know, it led him down.
What is that? Sorry for my ignorance.
It's almost like you get like schizophrenia, or you overthinking, and
some people
you have conversations with yourself in a sense.
Okay.
And it's where you almost just you convince yourself about something that's not even an issue almost.
Yeah.
It might not be the issue for everyone, but this is my understanding of what happened to him.
Sounds familiar to someone I know.
Who?
Family. Yeah.
Oh,
anyway.
This is about me, right?
No.
I'm like, okay.
No.
But yeah, it's basically
we're really doing this.
But you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah. But it's something that can lead you down a path because of your own conversations in your mind or whatever you're thinking, and obviously ended up in a mental home, just from a mental hospital, just from what happened. But
Yeah.
obviously, where he's not on that now, he's a lot better. He's fine now. But it's, you know, the results are
Yeah.
from what happened in your past, and I like that, something like that. It's hard to get over something like that when you're in that situation.
Yeah.
You know.
I think as well, like it, what's that show that we watched where they like have Supercell? Is it Supercell?
Supercell, yeah.
Yeah. The thing that really stood out to me and like where I was like so frustrated was like, okay, so someone's just stabbed someone, so now you're gonna go stab someone, and then it's like this cycle
Yeah.
that just keeps going round and round and round. So you're upset because they stabbed your brother, but then you're going to go stab their brother, and then
Yeah,
they're
but
going
it's
to
a
go,
whole.
and then it's like literally just keeps going round and round and round,
Yeah.
like. And I'm like shouting at the TV, like, someone stop the cycle.
Yeah.
Like, and I think like even with gangs and knife crime in this country, like all it takes is for a group of people to stop the cycle. Like everyone's got a brother, everyone's got like, do you know what I mean? Everyone's got a family member, and if you keep hurting each other, like the retaliation's never gonna stop.
Well, I'll be with it. I was having a conversation with him, right? And he was
Yeah.
telling me that in Albania,
Yeah.
there's actually an old law, like hundreds of years,
Yeah.
where say if someone like kills like your wife or your children or anything like that, you actually allowed to like you kill 10 men in their bloodline.
Oh my gosh.
Like if
It's a law.
if they see that and they go to like can go to your house about the situation and they see that that's what's happened, like they'll let you go.
Oh wow.
So it's like literally like it's like a known thing, but he said it's like lowest crime rate because
No
those
one
things
wants
like
to do it.
yeah, because your family's gonna pay your
Yeah.
brother, your father, or whoever.
Everybody's going to be
Yeah.
wiped out.
You know, if you touch like women and children,
Wow.
it's like
the consequence.
yeah, there's a lot of they'll literally your whole 10 of your male family members
Will
will
die
be
for
killed.
it.
Yeah,
Wow.
I can't remember
Every-
what he said that it
every
was, but he said it's
price.
like goes back a long time.
Wow.
Maybe
Wow.
we should have something like that where there's
No,
consequences
that's
with action,
scary.
not just jail,
Yeah.
and then they're releasing
That's
them
pretty
because
scary.
the jail's full. You know what I
Because
mean?
it just doesn't make sense.
Mm.
Like, I think that this
They're
is the
doing
thing
all
about
these-
living in the past. Like, your whole response now comes from, and if you look at gang culture and everything,
About
it's
postcodes.
all from retaliation and what was done in the past, and never really about what's happening in the present. Do you get what I mean? It's all built around this concept of looking back. And I think it's just such a dangerous place to live because I think it just distorts your whole reality, and I think that it's just such an unhealthy place to be.
I think it's in terms of what you were talking about in Supercell with like the gangs and stuff. It's
And
it's
I'm
hard
not an
because
expert on
it's-
gangs, by the way. I don't know anything about gangs.
Okay.
Just
thought
a
you said you are the
disclaimer.
expert.
I said I'm not an expert.
okay. So it's imagine like you live in this small space, right? This
yeah.
area that you grew up in, you lived in.
Mm.
All like your friends are from that area, and you've grown up around older people that's influenced you on area this way. We run this area or whatever, and there's oppositions over there that run certain areas. So I know guys that were like from 18 to 25, like they won't go to certain areas because they don't mess with certain people from those areas.
Yeah.
And I think they've been living in a certain area, and that's their life. Like even in America, there's people that don't even leave their state, or they've never left that area.
Yeah.
It's like if you put like a rat in a box this whole life, it thinks that's the world. You
Yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like that's not that to them that's the world. That's everything they know.
Yeah.
Until you take them out and put them somewhere else and make them see the bigger picture of what life is,
Yeah.
they won't understand it.
Yeah.
So if that's what their parents lived in that area their whole life, and their grandparents lived in that area, and that's all they know,
Yeah.
they can't afford to get out of that situation. How do you get out of that? How do you change that story without? I think it has to be like, it's hard to say because some people do try that with education and try to leave, and you see these random stabbings of kids that's got nothing to do with that, and a 15-year-old
But
girl
then there
gets,
are some that do get out.
Yeah.
And there are some that do leave. And I think
but it's dribs
that
and it's like crabs in a bucket. It's like
but
very
then I
rare.
think that it's that fight to actually do more than what is being presented to you. So like, I don't know if you've seen that movie. He becomes like a neurosurgeon or something. It's a true story, but he grows up with a single mom, and he can't read.
Yeah.
Do you remember? He can't read.
He's
He's really behind in his studies or whatever, and he just his mum makes him read books every day.
And she to her.
To her, but she can't read.
Yeah, but both him and his brother, but she can't read. Doctor.
A Gifted Hands, I think it is.
Yeah, Gifted Hands.
And she can't read, but her kids don't know she can't read.
But she
Okay.
makes
But
them
she
read
makes
to
them
her.
read to her.
So how did they learn how to read?
So she would send them to school and she'd make them
Okay.
bring back books.
Okay.
But she'd make them read it to her, but she actually doesn't know whether they're reading it correctly or not.
She didn't want them to be like her.
Yeah.
So she really pushed them.
But they didn't
to
have
push
money
them
or
out
anything,
of the
yeah.
environment that they grew up in.
Yeah.
Poverty and just.
And they weren't allowed
that
the
was her
TV.
life.
Yeah. And he grew up to be a neurosurgeon.
Mm.
And I'm not saying that that's obviously everyone's story, but I do really truly believe
So Ben
in the power of
Carson.
choice.
Ben Carson.
I think Ben Carson,
Yeah.
yeah. Like I believe in the power of choice, and I believe that the power of choice is more powerful than any environment that you've ever been raised in,
Yeah.
or any thing that's ever happened to you. I think choice is such an underrated power, and I think that we have the power of choice every day of what we're gonna live, what we're gonna think,
And it
what
doesn't
we're
have
gonna
to be
hold on to.
trauma. I know for
No.
me, growing up at home, my parents were afraid of everything, afraid to take chances. Some people are like that. They're afraid of, well, what if it doesn't work? Well, what if it does? And so I saw where there was this property, a second property had come up. And my parents, I heard them talking about it as a child. If we went for that, we could buy it, we could rent it out. And then they were back and forward with that, and fear of, well, what if, for whatever reason, what if we couldn't afford? But if you've got tenants in it, that's covering your mortgage anyway. So they never went for it. And I remember they'd always walk past this house and like, oh, if only we'd bought it and da-da-da. So they lived, they talked about the regrets the whole time. And I saw them being afraid of trying things. And I think I went the other extreme because I thought, I don't want to be like that. Because one day, everything is now not possible because you've reached a certain age. And like now, I look at my mom, she's nearly 90, and the days of traveling and all those things, it's too late now. So you just do those things, you make a decision. And for me as a young girl looking at that, I thought I was already making decisions that that's not going to be me. That's not going to be me. I'm going to do it differently. I want to enjoy life. I want to go places. I want to visit places. And a lot of the things that they had, I thought, based on the fear of, you're allowing fear or whatever to control your life. You didn't take, because I thought, where did the boldness go that they all took this huge step to leave their country? That was big.
I think that's what it was.
What happened
in a
to
sense?
that?
Because I was gonna say, obviously they grew up different to how you grew up, and that big risk.
That was huge.
Yes, but
They
it's
didn't
like,
want to lose it.
I don't want to you don't want to lose what we've worked so hard for.
Yeah.
Like we take this risk and we end up
Yeah.
it falls through.
Could lose everything.
Then we got to go back to it's a big
How are you
risk.
gonna get
Whereas
back
for
there?
you, your life is
Your life is
this is like what you got to lose in a sense. But for them, it's like we've worked so hard. Granddad went to America, worked in the fields, and so much sacrifice went into getting us here.
Yeah.
That if we take this, could it jeopardize this?
Yeah.
Whereas we live a lot
I
more free
guess-
now because we
I
never
guess,
had that.
Because I didn't have that responsibility when I developed that mindset. But for them, I guess now we've got children.
Yeah, exactly.
So when we took the
not just
risk,
us.
we had less.
Yeah.
We didn't have as much responsibility. Now we've got 3 children.
Yeah, but they also knew what it took to get to where they were.
Yeah.
And so I think when you've had to work so hard to get somewhere, you're a lot more cautious. It's like if you own your car, you're a lot more cautious about.
If you saved up 10 years for that car, you're gonna
you're gonna be scared.
You ain't gonna go through them 6x6 barriers.
You're gonna listen. I have backed out of those things.
I'll be
Everyone's
like,
beeping me. Listen,
nah,
I'm gonna
that's niche, boy.
back up.
She's
I'm
not going
backing
through
up.
them.
Listen, you can beat me as much as you
Are
want.
you
You
gonna
can
pay for my
cuss
bills?
me. Exactly. Nope. backing up.
Exactly. So I think
Apparently your
that
dad went through one the other day because he stopped going through and he goes through and all you hear is
Yeah.
and us,
Nah.
it's like when you're in the middle of it, you got to just drive through
new
it.
rims. I got to go fix
Yeah.
repair the rims.
Yeah, nah.
Yeah.
That's why I reverse
That's the thing.
every
When you
time.
work for like,
Yeah.
when
Yeah,
you like
yeah.
spent half your life trying to get to where you are now, it's like, it's like snakes and ladders. If I take this step, is it going to send me 10
And I
steps
think
back?
that's the
or-
thing. The next generation never has, like, even with Maya and Kayla and Ezra,
experience.
I'm constantly
fear,
concerned.
nothing.
No,
Yeah.
but I want them to have a certain level
Of like, yeah.
because I think that the danger is, yes, we're working really hard to change their story and to give them a new
But they don't
pen
have
and to
the
give them
experience
but
that
they
you
don't
did.
have
Yeah.
the price that is
Struggle,
being paid.
yeah.
So I'm very open with the struggle and like what is required, and so I don't shy away from saying to my kids, listen, that's going to make me working an extra whatever to get you that, or it's going to mean this whatever, because I want them to know that it costs. And like even the other day I came home and literally like my pet peeve is shoes just sprawled by like as you walk in the front door. The shoe rack's empty but the shoes are all over. That's literally my pet peeve. That and not pushing chairs in. It literally makes my skin itch. Like I just don't understand it. Like you get up from the table, push the chair in. Like you finish with your food, take your mat. Like I just, there's certain things I don't understand. So I was like, okay, I have a choice here. I can scream everybody's name down the whole house. I could just scream it. And I took my phone and I filmed as though my phone was my eyes. So I went through the whole house and filmed every part of the house, but looking down as though it's my eyes. I sent it to Jason. I sent it to the girls because they've got iPads. I sent it to everybody. And I said, this is our home. This is what we've worked hard for. Why is it like this? Because of laziness? Everyone's busy, right? Pick up your stuff. This is what I see when I walk through the house. So I'm not seeing that it's time to relax. I'm not seeing that it's time to rest. I'm seeing now I've got more work to do. What do you think that's going to cause in terms of the home? Do you think that I'm going to be happy and elated and jumping from one end of the house to the other? No, I'm not. Because now I can't even put down my bag good before I'm now starting to pick up after everybody. The girls literally ran around the house like little elves. They cleaned that house so good. I actually said to them, I don't need the cleaner. You lot can do it. And you know what? Sometimes as well, it just takes that bringing them in. Because not all looking back, I think, is bad. Because sometimes the looking back is what makes you appreciate the present.
Struggle. I think that's what lacks in this new generation.
Yeah.
There's no struggle.
No.
And then they want to call mental health because it's like they haven't been through anything.
That's what I'm saying. Like what they're like over. It's like honestly.
It's like, like if you knew what your grandparents went through and all this stuff, it's like I'm not saying it's not the mental health issues, but it's like you need to have a little bit of struggle or a little bit of pressure to get to where you are and appreciate the process.
And like even with Jason, like obviously Jason's white, so white people are a lot further ahead than black people in terms of, you know, Jason doesn't have a memory of like his grandfather having to go work in cornfields or whatever. So you even see the difference between even our mentalities of what is hard and what is a struggle. Now I think he's getting a revelation of what's hard because he's living with me and he's got 3 kids and you have to pay all these bills, whatever. But also a lot of like one thing that Caucasian people do quite well is they pass on and they pass on and pass on, and it just becomes easier and easier and easier. But I think that the danger in that is also
comfortability and
what they now steam as a struggle. That's you ain't struggling, like that's not a struggle because
I only got 50k in my account.
The shoes that I want are sold out. What am I gonna do? Do you get what I mean? Like they don't have it in my size. Like that's not struggle. And so I think that it's teaching our kids intentionally, not like make them struggle, but maybe make them struggle a little bit. Like instead of them just giving them that thing that they're asking for, let them wait for
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Wait
mean?
for it,
Like,
earn it. Yeah.
wait for it. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Like, even Maya, there's a school that she wanted to go to, and I said to her, we can't send you this year. We don't have the money for it. And she said, if I do this and if I do this and if I do this, can I go next year? And I said, I'll do everything in my power. But now I know if Maya goes to that school, she's gonna appreciate
Yeah,
it
she's not gonna
rather
start
than.
slacking, yeah.
Do you get what I mean?
Or if
like,
she does, you remind her, remember what you done
do
to
you
get
remember
here.
what?
Do you want to lose
yeah,
that?
do you want to lose
Yeah.
that? And so
Mm.
I think sometimes we make it so easy for our kids
Mm.
that they're just almost like they're obnoxious with it.
But even like
Yeah.
toys and stuff, like if you could
Yeah.
be like with Luca, it's like for some reason the school's giving him like there's a Smiths magazine in the classroom.
The what?
Smiths.
Smith, the catalogue.
Oh.
So he's come back with all these
Oh, I
ripped out
see him with the
sheets.
page.
Yes.
Yeah.
So it's like, I want this. I want this.
Yeah, he said.
So
Well,
I'm
no,
like-
he said I want everything on the page.
So I said, bring your piggy bank. So this is how much you got in here.
Yeah.
You can afford this. If you do this, then you might get some money in your piggy bank, and then you can afford something else.
Yeah.
Mm.
So you have to. I'm trying to teach them the value. Like
Yeah.
he like, I want this to like. If you come to a bank, you
Yeah.
can just like
Yeah.
we're doing the whole house right now.
Yeah.
It's like, so if you want this, you have to
Yeah.
understand the value.
Yeah.
To them, it's just numbers and paper and
Mm.
Yeah.
coins, you know. So it
Mm.
doesn't have any actual value
Yeah,
to
yeah.
what you can do with that. So
Mm.
trying to put that value into perspective of what
Yeah.
you have here and what
Mm.
you can afford with what you have.
Yeah.
Well, that was the difference because for us it was like presents for Christmas.
Yeah,
Toys.
even that.
Yeah.
Like you're not
Toys-
just getting toys no
for
more for
Christmas.
whenever.
So
Yeah.
you played with it all
Mm.
year. You took care of it
Mm.
because you knew you couldn't go and ask for another toy.
Yeah,
Even
yeah.
clothes, you
Yeah.
know, that's a sacrifice for parents to
Mm.
buy you clothes
Yeah.
and to keep you on
Yeah.
trend. And I think
remember
that
when my
there's-
mum told me off because she bought me these T-bar shoes, which
yeah.
may be fashionable now, but absolutely hated
What's
then.
T-bar shoes?
So it
Of
was like a
course,
school
like-
shoe, but it had a T-bar.
Oh,
So
where like
they're
the strap goes around the
that,
ankle.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, like the
Hated-
Yeah.
girls' shoes.
absolutely.
Maya's got
hated
them.
it.
She's got
So
the Dr.
I
Martens
got one
ones.
of my dad's razor
And
blades,
cut them off.
and I began to pare the bottom of the shoe,
What, to make it so you have to get new shoes?
and then I rubbed it on the.
Wow. How old are you
You
here?
needed a beat.
Isn't it?
Then I rubbed
That's
it
why
on-
you got beats.
I rubbed
That's
it
why you got. That's why your dad
Yeah, I
was
was very
shaking.
conniving.
Do you think that
rubbed-
came off from into any of your kids or?
yeah, probably all of you.
No, it didn't
Anyway.
happen to me.
I rubbed it.
I never
rubbed
done that
it on
one.
the, rubbed it on the ground to make it look like wear and tear.
Yeah.
And I remember my mum's like, until I got a hole. You've done it till you made a like.
You're gonna wear
You're
them
getting
the
licks. You
same
will go
way.
barefoot.
You're
I'll
gonna
paint-
know.
I'll
You're
paint your
getting
feet
licks,
black like you got shoes
and
on.
you're wearing the shoes. Let the air come up through the
Yeah.
hole, and you'll
When you get
learn.
big rocks
You'll
in
have
your shoe.
athlete's foot, and you'll learn.
I remember that she was like, "How did you wear these down so
No.
quick?" And you think I got money growing on tree? You know,
Yeah.
but, you know, as a child, you totally.
And she buy you the same shoe
Clueless.
again.
You know.
No, she didn't actually. I managed to talk her into giving me the money so I could buy what I wanted.
How old are you?
I was in my teens.
She was doing something. Yeah, go work.
Yeah.
bet you want to rub
No,
out a shoe.
I wasn't old enough to work.
And then you're
but
saying, why didn't they buy that house?
You know.
Because you won't buy 5 shoes every
They're
year.
busy buying you
partially,
shoes.
that was once. That was once, but I think she got it that I hated the shoe, the stylish shoe, because back in the day they would buy you uniforms, but then I was able to buy my own shoes. That was okay after that.
Okay.
No.
What was I was going to say something in terms of
Mm-hmm.
even like the lottery, right? See how almost every winner of lottery,
Yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
they lose the money or
Yeah.
it's because I think they,
Not used to it.
yeah, because you're going from 0 to 100
Yeah.
without
You've not
working
learned
for
how
anything.
to
Yeah.
balance it, how to
Yeah.
budget.
So your first thing is, I'm going to buy
Yeah.
this, I'm going to buy that, I'm going to...
Yeah,
I
everything.
think anyone,
used-
if anyone's, you've probably been asked, like, if you won £1 million, what would you do with it?
Mm.
Yeah. I
A
know.
lot of people
I know
said,
exactly
I
what
would
I do with
invest
it.
half the money in here and then
they
I'd live off
don't.
the
It's
interest.
different
And
when you get it.
so when that money is in your account, you're seeing all these zeros and...
To be honest, £1 million isn't a lot of
No,
money.
£1 million won't get you far.
Not today.
No, if you're saying $1 billion, then I'm
Of
gonna
course, it's a
enjoy
very big
myself.
difference.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But £1 million, you need to be smart with that.
Yeah, you
like,
do.
Millions
That's
not
going
gonna
to be
be-
gone
£1 million
in a minute.
You've
they-
got to live like you don't have it.
I need to be buying 2-3 properties that are gonna be paying me. That's it.
I don't
That's
think I'll
all you're
touch
gonna
it for a
get
year. I'll
to
put it in
do.
a high interest account.
Yeah.
Live like I literally just forget
Yeah,
about
you
it,
gotta pretend like you don't have
Yeah.
it.
Most people couldn't do that though.
and then take that interest out,
You know
and
it's
then use
there
that
and
for something,
pretend-
and
yeah.
then do the
That's
same
the
thing again.
ideal way, but I think that's what they
That's
advise.
a lot of discipline, though. A lot
Because
of people
usually
don't
with
have
those these people that give you that, they give you an advisor, and I think that's what most of them say. That they'll say buy yourself a treat or two, but just leave it there until you get used to the idea that you have that
But
before you start.
don't they give you like two options where it's like you can take this much, like
Mm.
if you want the bulk now, but it's less than what you want, or they
Mm.
can pay you like over time.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's like the process.
Sounds
What,
And most
what
people
would
take
you,
the-
Sounds like the
okay,
pension.
so if you were given £1 million today, what would you do?
Right now, in
Yeah.
this situation, I'll probably put 850k into a high interest savings account.
Yeah.
Probably use the rest of it towards the house now.
Yeah.
And probably a year later, I'll probably remortgage my house.
Mm.
And take the interest out. Probably buy another property with that.
Yeah.
But I think where you can always make money from that lump sum,
Yeah.
I'll try not to use that money until you've made certain investments that you're making
That's
more
gonna-
than that money
That's going to
from
keep
something else. Yeah.
replenishing the pot.
I think you
Yeah.
have to almost have a long term plan with that,
Yeah.
or that
Yeah.
will
Because once that pot
disappear.
is,
Yeah.
once
you
that
chisel
pot
away,
is
keep chiseling
empty,
away at that. That's gonna
oh
just
gosh,
be gone.
and you won't have anything to show for it.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
And the more money the more expenses you have,
Mm.
the more money you're gonna
But
spend
even like
as well.
some people win like maybe 200,000, and they get excited as though that's a lot of money.
Mm.
It sounds like a lot of money, but it's not when in comparison to what things cost. You can't really buy a house anymore for 200,000.
Mm.
It's
Years
just
ago,
deposit.
you could
You
have
can
done.
put a good
Yeah.
deposit down. That's it.
Yeah.
But like, what was that? What was the most you could win on that show? Deal or No Deal? Was it 250k?
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Like, if you go and see anyone that's won big on that show and see if their lives actually
Got
changed.
anything
Yeah,
and
it's
all
not.
got
If anything, it
anything
might have made it worse
Yeah.
Yeah.
because you paint this picture that you're gonna like live this life, or you just think your family members, yeah, I'll give you some money.
Yeah.
I remember once me and Dad were doing that some crypto thing,
Yeah.
and there was a glitch on the system,
I remember
and,
that.
and it said that Dad called me. He said, "Have you checked your account?" And I think mine said like, obviously Dad invested more, so it's doing enough. Dad was like on $1 billion or something.
Yeah.
My one said like 600 something
You
million.
didn't draw out.
I was in a restaurant. I was about to pay everyone's food. So I was about to pay for the whole restaurant. The first initial thing, I was just like, I don't know, let's give it from Dad. We just want to give.
Yeah.
I was just like, somehow I couldn't like process like 650 million over what? I think I put in like £500 or something.
Yeah.
And I think there was a glitch where they changed over to another system or something, and then
They put all these
but you couldn't
zeros
withdraw
on.
it basically. And my first initial was like processing that is like
650 million we can do something with.
Yeah,
like
that's-
650
Yeah, like-
million.
That's a different.
our life
that's-
is gonna change.
That's
a
it. Our
different
life.
number.
I've got to look good every day.
Even if I
every
take
day
2
I've
million
got
out,
to look good.
you buy your
Hey,
forever
don't
home.
forget my makeup again. Like
2 million,
I'm
you
gonna
got your
look
house.
good every day.
Yeah,
And
more
like-
than.
I think I could actually be sensible with it. I ain't gonna go buy no
650
private
million,
jet.
but
I
that's
ain't gonna
almost
do
like
that.
too much.
No,
How's that too
600
much?
But I'm saying like, there's no way you're gonna spend that in your lifetime.
But that's okay.
it's not for
No,
a
you're
lifetime.
You're not trying to
That
spend
is like
it in your lifetime.
You put that in like to make sure that your
Yeah.
kids
Yeah.
are good.
yeah.
But you do it in a way
that's
there's
what I think
trust.
is incredible. That yes, there's lessons that they skip when they land in that place. But
Yeah.
for me, that's one of the goals that I would love to be able to have, where there's that kind of inheritance that you can leave.
Okay,
your
so what would you
children.
do? Let's make it more than 1 million then. Let's make it 10 million. What would you do with 10 million?
What would I do?
That's still not
Yeah.
a lot.
Okay, all right, let's go 60. What was it? What did you say?
650 million.
650 million.
500 million. Let's say 500 million.
Okay, 500
Half-
million.
half-
What
Half
would
a
you do?
billion.
Half a
$500
billion.
million.
What would you do?
I'd
Half a billion, sorry.
That's when you get as
I'd
a
move.
financial advisor.
Huh? Yeah, you'd need a financial
What
advisor
would you do?
because you
You'd
want to
move. Where
make
would
sure
you
you're
go?
not taxed.
You ain't gonna
to the
sleep.
hill.
Your mind's like things you can do with your money is like.
I don't think I would be that way because I think at the age we're
Mom would buy
at,
Harrods.
Huh?
Mom would buy Harrods or something.
I would.
So you can just go pick up shoes like a
No,
walk-in wardrobe.
I actually don't like what they've done to it anymore.
yeah. So you can change it.
No, but I think property-wise, I'd move. somewhere probably a little bit more exclusive, as
Mm.
in, tucked,
Yeah,
more
yeah.
tucked away. And I think for us, we would do.
How much did you spend on that house?
How much? I think for me, because it can get ridiculous, right? I think for 2.5, you
I think
can.
it's too big though for me. Like a house that is.
Yeah, that's a lot of house.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I think 10,000 square foot. I'm good for like
Oh,
that's,
that's massive.
kids,
But
grandkids, everyone
that's
over.
not just
Like
10,000 square foot. It depends what area that
Mm.
you're getting that in.
I don't care
For
about
the
like
area that I'm
bougie areas.
thinking,
If I could
you
build a house on like a
within
great
that
piece of land,
price bracket,
countryside.
you probably would find something less,
Mm.
and probably 1.5, maybe 2
Mm.
max. But I'd say 250. That gives you
Yeah.
2.5. That gives you a huge array of choices. Have that. Maybe get one more car. I've got one. That's my personal. Maybe get one more car, but I'm not that bothered about cars. So, and just enjoy life. I'd invest. Obviously, we'd invest the majority of that because your dad's big on that investing. So you live on the interest rather than touching your money. And just have, your will set up so your kids are not fighting over it when you're gone, and that you have their investments there. So, and even it would be great to have something for all the grandkids. So everyone has, at the end of, when you've come to the end of your life, you've left a legacy and an inheritance. And I think that's oftentimes what's missing within the Black culture. Most of us have to start from ground zero. We don't ever step into that higher level where we've got something that we can, that's already there's something there already, we just got to build on that or do whatever with what we want with that.
I think in terms of leaving money for my kids, or even when they're here, I wouldn't just give them money.
No, you put an age limit when they can walk
Not
into.
even that.
You could even
Give
scale
them
it.
I think you'd have to come to me
Yeah.
with a business proposal of what you want
Okay.
to do with the money,
That's a good idea.
and then if it's actually like a good, then I'll invest on whatever.
Based on.
Yeah, 'cause I'm not gonna be like,
Yeah.
oh, Dad, I want to build I want to start a.
Mm.
Okay, what's the plan here? You know, because now you know there's money accessible.
Mm.
You just had this idea that off a whim. You haven't thought the whole process through or
Yeah.
whatever.
What's
And
gonna
it gives
cost
them
you
the
to do?
structure to even build
Yeah.
that. So if they do present to other people, you have you know how to do a business plan.
Mm.
You know how to plan in your first 5 years what's your expected
Mm.
revenue or what you want to do.
But that's something that you can actually do now, even without that.
Yeah,
Teach
of
your
course.
kids to do that. I think that's a powerful thing
A lot of people
that we
don't know
can
how to write
teach our
business
children to
plans.
build a business
Because they don't
plan.
teach us in schools.
No, school doesn't
Yeah.
teach you that. In fact, when you think about it, even university, when you walk away from school,
Debt.
what did they actually give
Debt.
you?
They give
To
you
work
nothing
for
but debt.
someone else.
Well, yeah, they've really groomed you to be an employee, not an employer.
Why would-
School could change up the whole curriculum.
They're not
that
trying
those
to make
kids, I know they're not trying to. They're
entrepreneurs
trying
or-
to prepare you to work for these bigger companies. That's all it is. Even when you go university, it's not about working for yourself. It's about preparing you to fund someone else's dream.
But it's been like that from the beginning of
It's
time.
been like that.
Hence why the bells, and you have lunch, and then you have breaks, and you go back
Yeah.
to work. Same thing
That's
as in
work.
the industrial
Yeah.
revolution.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
the whole.
Yeah.
That was the whole
Yeah.
process. It's the same as.
And we're all groomed with that, and we don't even realize it.
That's the only thing that
Because
hasn't
they could
changed
change
in
the
100 years.
system.
Is the schools.
They could teach financial management. They could teach
Running your
how
own
to
businesses
how
and
to
companies.
they could teach you how to build a business,
Mm.
how to be self-employed. Why don't they? Because they don't want us to be like that.
Mm.
Ezra told me he wants to be a scientist and he's going to create things to cure people. It's the second time he said it to me.
Okay.
I said, I'm going to be like, that's my son. He'd be like, oh, then maybe I'll do something else.
Literally.
I'm going to be like, that's my son.
So it's like
It's
knocking
a
over
good
things in the
idea,
lab.
though, to begin to train your kids to
Your
be
mum's here.
business-minded from now.
Yeah.
I think that's a
Yeah.
great thing to train the grandkids now to start thinking business-minded. Because
Yeah.
can you imagine? Because they don't have to just have one business, but if they have multiple businesses,
Well, it's
or
like
one-
Kayla. She's selling her bracelets.
yeah, it's
and
that entrepreneur
Maya said she wants to
spirit.
start doing art and selling it.
Yeah.
See that
So-
feeling when you have an idea
Mm.
and people buy what you're selling.
Mm.
Yeah.
It's like, I think everyone should be able to feel like, you know,
Yeah.
even something you've made or you created
Yeah.
in your head that you think, knowing that people will buy your product, or even you have one customer, that first
Yeah.
customer, it's like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it's better than any feeling you'll get working for someone, or that pay
Exactly.
slip, or,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
literally, I'd encourage my kids to be able to have
Mm.
those ideas or
Mm.
think of
I think my
ideas.
dream's always been, I think if I had, was it 500 million?
Mm-hmm.
I think I would definitely buy land. I've always dreamed of building my house from
Who
scratch.
said they want like a road of
Me.
the houses?
I
It's
said
me.
that first.
I want
Yeah,
that. as
you lot
well.
Yeah, I
wanna-
wanted
I
that.
actually would like
I want
all
that
of the
ro-
cousins
that,
to live
yeah,
Yeah, I
together.
don't know if I
the
would be
whole
that close to you,
family
but-
lives in the same next
Can
door.
get
That's
in a
too close.
go-kart. No,
Remove
it's
all the
not.
boundary fences and
Just think about
the
a
kids-
community where you never have to worry about your
It's
kids
like calling
playing
it a cult.
outside. No, but think
Yeah, it's
about it. Like,
family.
you never have to worry about your kids going outside.
Yeah, of course.
Do you get what I mean? Like Luca, Miko, kids. Like, you have woods, you have everything. So, like, we're not
Give them
talking about
little
like
quad bikes
terraced
to get around.
houses. Do you get what I mean?
Gosh.
But like, it's acreage.
Yeah.
But then
Walkie-talkies
you
to
go
each
to when you go to your next door, all your neighbors are people your family.
Yeah.
That
We know
I think that's
family like that
amazing.
in Florida. They the McDaniels, and they had, you know, wait, I think Chuck's took you on there for the
Oh yeah,
hunting.
that land. Yeah, that's what he does.
Yeah,
the
so
hunting
the
and
the
that, yeah.
parents owned this land,
Mm.
and the kids all had their properties
Like
in
acres,
different
yeah.
corners.
Yeah.
And so all the kids just went around on the land on their
Yeah.
quad bikes and
Yeah.
whatever, because it's so big.
Yeah.
But the kids all grew up together.
Yeah.
The parents were there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Their kids were there. The grandkids
Yeah,
were there,
that's
and
cool.
I think it was all good until it all unraveled when the parents passed away.
Yeah, that's
Then
the
it's
thing.
like this one wants to.
I want to take
move.
this, sell this.
Yeah,
you
so
know?
it's all changed.
Maybe you get
But it
influence
was-
from like the spouses and this and that. You know,
yeah,
it's,
it just
it's hard
spoiled
to
it.
keep that for generations.
The
It's
parents
always
held
gonna-
it together, but once the parents were gone, as often the case, and then it all fragmented. Because I remember the first time we went there, they took us on those monster trucks through the woods and everything, and then we came back and they had this one communal property in the middle.
Yeah.
It was like a dining thing. I think you saw something similar, like David Beckham had that place,
yeah.
but theirs was huge. And that's where like they did their barbecues and the family came together to eat. And I remember they came and they slapped this like huge piece of steak on your plate. They just, because they had their animals there, and they
Yeah,
so you,
that's cool.
oh, it was
Imagine
so
like
cool.
a community where you grow all your own veg.
Yeah,
You grow all your own livestock.
got your own
That's
lifestyle.
my dream to have like
organic.
own.
But what I'm saying
like
is
your
like
dad now.
you have like
Yeah,
at the
to live-
You're
beginning.
the one that's
My
gonna-
dream,
Self-sufficient.
my dream would be where, as you enter at the front of before you actually get into the estate, you have a supermarket, and it's like all fresh produce. And like as the kids get older, that's their Saturday job or whatever. They work in the supermarket. They help to tend the chickens, whatever, and they get paid for it. And then as you enter the gates, that's when it's like, but each street is like named, but like it wouldn't just be like, okay, Dominic's house. Like you would have like your own like gated entrance, but then in yours would be like your house, but you'd already had like a house for Miko, a house for Case, house. Do you get what I mean? And those houses just wait for them to be old enough to like move into one day or whatever.
I hear someone
Like
saying,
Maya,
"Well, what if they
Kayla,
don't want to
Ezra.
stay there?"
Then they can
can
they
go.
don't have to. They don't
That's
have
always
to
gonna be the
stay,
case
but-
though.
Yeah,
Yeah,
After
but they don't have
generations, it's like
to.
we've been here our whole life. and-
yeah.
Yeah, but they
let's
don't
What's
have
on the
to, but
outside?
Yeah, what's
I think that what
outside?
you've got to also understand is that the hardest part of like actually like building and stuff is your property. Like think about how much money we spend on a property, on a house or whatever. And I think that what's nice with that is even if everybody decided to leave at the end of it, you've got multiple houses that can be rented or
So even that
sold or whatever. Like, but the fact is that you've created a community that is safe, you know, where you can go back. Like my desire would be that my kids can, you know, where I can actually just be somewhere in the house and not have to be looking out. My kids don't play outside full stop unless they're in the back garden, and even then I watch them. And I think it's just going back to that, do you get what I mean? Where our food is fresh. Like, we're not worried about, you know, all of these things that keep getting
Yeah.
forwarded to you, whatever. Like, you can even have a pond with fish. Do you get what I mean? Like, where you can literally have it where everything you're eating, you've
a lake.
actually just increased the longevity of your life for every member of your family. probably by like 30-40 years, because they're not having this cancerous cells put in their bodies, they're living off of the land. And if you go back to where we started, that's what it used to be, that your dad had a farm, you attend the farm, you grow up, you take over the farm, whatever. And I think again it's going back to that thing where we always want more, we always need more, we all
I think it's this, they sold us convenience,
yeah,
and people, you know, that's how it.
And they dangle the carrot because people like keep chasing things, like you say.
Just
you
keep
said
changing it.
earlier
It's
on.
what
Yeah.
started off as like a great, you know, you get fresh food and it's this
Yeah.
and that. You don't have to, you know, farm your own animals.
Yeah.
You can get fresh meat here if you just want to, you know, your peas. You have to grow a cow or a
Yeah,
chicken
you
for
just pick it up off the
months.
shelf.
Yeah, and it's just, you know, it's fresh. Now Bill Gates is making 3D meat, and they've been passed to sell
Growing
it.
it in the
Literally a
lab.
lab.
They grow chicken
Yeah,
from the cells. No
Yeah.
chicken per se, but
Yeah.
the chicken meat is grown from cells in a lab.
exactly.
Can you imagine? I was saying to you, Dad, the other day, actually, I was talking to Emmanuel because he said he was taking his kids to get nuggets because his wife was away. And I was saying, you know, it's so easy to make. You know, just go. It's like, how do you make that then? I said, go to the butchers and you
Diced
pick your chicken breast and they'll mince it for
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
I've done that before.
Just
And
coat it.
yeah, and you just and you can even add
This
your
is
little
what
bit
I'm
of
saying.
seasoning
Me,
because
I'm not doing all of that. I'm hiring a chef. If I've got 500 million,
No, but I'm
there's
just
a
saying.
chef. No, but I'm having a chef. I'm going to tell them what I want because I know what's on our land. I'm going to tell them, right, today I want, for the kids, I want you to do this. Do you get what I mean? The kids are going to eat it because they know that they help to work
Grow
on
it,
this
pick
land,
it,
grow
yeah.
it, get the eggs. Do you get what I mean? Like, it's just so nice. That's my dream life. Like, I'm not bothered about what car. I'll drive a Volvo till the day I die. I don't care about any of that. I think for me, it's like waking up every morning, just seeing fields, no pollution, going down to my like stables, going for a ride with my horse in the morning.
Everyone's probably
Going
like, you
like-
are recorded to
Like literally, that's no,
dreamland.
but it's like because we spend so much time on this hamster wheel that we never get to enjoy life. Like for me, going on nice holidays, you know, I would never
island
fly
as well, yeah?
economy again. No,
go
see,
island.
I think things like that. I don't need to buy an island. I think things like that are
island
just
for, like,
extravagance for no
$500,000.
reason. Yeah, but how many times are you going to go to the island?
Yeah.
What I would have is holiday houses because I actually enjoy staying in villas rather than hotels. I do enjoy, especially with the kids,
So you just
where
rent it out when you're not there.
no, well, if you have money, the only reason why I usually rent out
'cause you wanna make
holiday
money
homes
from
is
it.
because you need to make money from it because you
Well,
got
you're
to
gonna
pay
have
for it.
employees that work there anyway, isn't it?
That's what I'm saying. But I would have some that is holiday homes that's for. But when it comes to me, like say for example, I'd love to have a villa in Barbados. If I'm coming there with my kids, I want it to be where I don't need to pack. So I've got
got your clothes
wardrobes
there.
that's there. You know, all my summer clothes. You know, there's no one else sleeping in my bed. Do you know what I mean? The kids have their own rooms, and then every year we go back. You know, every December or whatever. That's our, you know, place that we go or whatever. Like that for me. I don't need you don't need private jets. You don't need a private island. Like gosh, like if you fly business class on a plane, like do you honestly need a private jet? Like
I wouldn't get a private jet.
like I
at
think
all.
there's
But
certain
even
things
the
where it's just
island stuff,
ridiculous.
you know, because what people don't think about is pirates. You know, can you imagine
Yeah.
if you're the only one on this
Listen,
island?
That's like one of them movies.
Yeah, and people come ashore. Who are you gonna call?
Yeah,
Even
I
with
guess.
Ezra, run, Luca.
Yeah, run where? And it's like even with yachts, people talk about yachts, but the other side of yachts is that they're still pirates today.
Yeah,
You
well,
know, it wasn't just
you're not
back in
sailing
the
out
days
into
of
the
Blackbeard.
next continent. I think you stayed pretty close to wherever you're
Coastline.
docked. You might drive around the.
I think
country.
I like.
That's
the
why
s-
some
I like
of
the
these yachts have
simple-
got guns on them. They've got.
Yeah.
I like
systems.
simplicity. I think I like things that are simple, but that I think ironically, that simple, untouched life costs money, and I think that's the thing. Like, and so I think for now, I try and focus on what I can do now to like. I think my goal in life is not to necessarily have X amount in my bank. It's just to get to the place where money it's not a thing. Like I don't have to check my bank to make sure that my bills are
Just
coming
want to
out.
be financially free.
Yeah, just
Be able to
financially
help
where
your
it's
kids
like,
when you
yeah,
need
like
to.
if we feel like going to
And
Mexico,
farm your own food and
go,
that's
yeah,
it.
like if we want to have like a what's it, vegetable patch or whatever, and chickens,
Yeah.
whatever, it's not a big deal. Like
You can do
I
that
think,
now.
yeah. Well, no, I can't. Not in my garden.
Why?
It
It's
takes
not
a lot
big
to.
enough, yeah.
It's not just a Cajun chicken, you know.
Yeah.
When I
it's
go
like-
to
it's-
go to the farm to get the eggs, it's like they got
yeah,
a whole
yeah,
operation. You
it's
know.
like proper.
It's like they got
you
these
could
big.
have it.
They got
Yeah,
them
you
big
can
tank things. That's
Yeah.
got to like run like.
It's got to be protected so foxes can't get to there.
Yeah, you've got builders.
Yeah,
so
it's got to
foxes
be a
can't
proper
get in.
enclosure.
Yeah.
It takes a bit.
takes a bit, and again, all of these things. If you're working every hour under the sun, who's feeding the chickens?
And you want them to have space as well. You don't want
Yeah.
just caged chickens. You want them to be able to.
Yeah, let them out.
Yeah, exactly.
like our garden's decent, but it's not like go now build
Yeah, of course.
like grow my own produce. Like,
Yeah, that's maintenance.
that's maintenance.
That's
Like
like-
that's what I'm saying. That's
like
what I
having a
want to
dog.
Yeah,
get
it's,
to.
it's,
Like
full,
having
it's full
chickens and-
time. It needs someone.
Go on
that's
holidays. What? You
committed,
come back chicken
yeah.
dead.
Yeah, it's bad enough
But
with the dog
that's
and the
thing
cat.
with everything. That's the thing with everything. You know, it's like having a dog. You know, you can't just now pick up at last minute and go off somewhere because now you've got to think about what do I do with that? I've got to find a kennel. And we've been at that place where it's like every kennel's full and we're like begging people to someone to look after your dog so you can travel. So it's always like, you know, things sound great, but then it's like, okay, how do I
You got to
now-
do this and then you got to put that into place and you got to do that. Yeah.
it's like you accumulate more, but now it's like there's more
costs
to
more to
think
live like that,
about.
Yeah.
You
You
know,
got to hire people and then you got to do this. and-
Yeah.
yeah.
it's
It's
like
gotta
even having
keep
a holiday
moving.
home. Okay, you have a holiday. I've known where people have had holiday homes in another country, and when they're not there, the people are
Yeah, living
living,
it, the
living in
cleanest.
their
Yeah,
house.
why
I'm
not?
sure. Sleep in your bed, boy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Do
You
you
gotta
remember
have
that
cameras.
holiday home we rented
Yeah.
in Portugal?
Yeah.
And there was like a door, and we didn't realize that the owner lived
In there.
Yeah, it was like quite creepy because it was they were in the house.
Well, I know in Australia a lot of people they board up their houses, so it's very common where we were near Noosa that they've got like beautiful holiday homes on the beach,
But you have the
but
shutters.
the
that come
shutters
down.
are down, so
You
no
knock
one's
it down.
actually there. And then when they're coming through, that's when the staff come
Yeah.
and like open it up for
Yeah.
them. But this is very much a fantasy
Yeah.
and
We
very
went so
far
off
from my
topic.
reality and very off
Yeah,
topic.
we're
of
not
whatever
here.
When we
talk
talk about past
Would love
traumas.
to-
Yeah.
Sorry.
Past traumas. right?
Past trauma, true,
Yeah.
we
And
have
living in the
better
future.
lives.
You're definitely living ahead. Now you go finish the podcast and be miserable in your life. you go back to your house. We live here.
You know what though? Like I have to be careful what I watch on Instagram because
Listen, that.
I love interiors.
No.
Listen, I'm very discontented when I come back to my kitchen after watching all those things.
No, don't be fooled. Them people in debt because they want that kitchen.
You know.
Yeah.
Like they try to get the views, boy.
Do you know what?
Pay
I
for the
don't
kitchen.
think I want a lot though. I just want like a massive kitchen. I mean, if I don't even care, but I do care about
What's
all the
massive
other rooms in
kitchen?
my house.
Yeah.
Like for me, I
I
want
saw on
two.
Instagram some woman had like a 28-foot island.
Yeah.
28 foot.
It's like
I don't
the
need
camera's
28
just like.
So
foot.
how do you
Yeah, I
go
don't need
from one
that. That's
side? How do you even
ridiculous.
clean that?
Yeah, nah.
28 foot.
You
How
put your
do
body
you-
just
You got a house.
Just slide on
How
it.
do you-
Just slide.
Why do you need?
Yeah, in
why?
America, it's just like extra.
They're
That is
just
like,
extra.
why?
But American houses are so big. It's so
28
unfair.
Literally,
why,
she's
why
like
don't
this.
we have that
Like, you
in
can barely see the
England?
end of that one, and it goes like that.
Yeah, but
28
I feel like
foot.
5 foot
everyone
wide.
in America
5
has
meters
got like
wide. Sorry.
5 meters.
Yeah.
That's
28 meters. Sorry, 28 meters.
That's totally.
yeah, but in
impractical.
England,
It's
what we
foolish.
pay in
You
England
got too
for
much money,
houses
my mum would
versus
say.
Isn't it?
America,
More money
it's
than sense.
ridiculous. No, I would love like a big island bench, not 20, whatever you just said, like enough to fit like 6 people sitting there,
It's just like
and then
5 meters.
yeah, I'd love to have a big island bench, like just a huge big open space that overlooks like with bifold doors that open up. And then I would love to have like a massive pantry, and then I want an island bench in my laundry room upstairs.
And what?
An island bench
So
in
where
my
she
laundry.
can fold clothes.
An
and-
island bench.
Yeah, I've never seen it before, but when one day
So what, you
when
can
I
just
build
fold
my
clothes
house,
and have them on there?
no,
or-
like I think for me, like I would want the island bench to have like loads of drawers, Like,
an
so,
island, like the
yeah.
island in the kitchen.
Yeah, like, but in my laundry. So you have your cupboards,
So
you have
how's
your
it a
washing
bench
or
so you
whatever.
can sit on it?
No, like how
Just
you
an
have an
island,
An
island.
island for your laundry
But it's
room.
got drawers in
Yeah,
it.
but then you know, like how you're always trying to like sort your laundry, and it's like, okay, and you try to fold it, and especially when you've got that many kids, and you know, it's like, am I using the dining table? Am I using? Do you get what I mean? Like just having a space where, you know, like if you're folding or whatever, like you can come and like sort it and have space and, you know, organize. Like, so that's my like individual desire. I'd love to, and I want it upstairs because it makes no sense
Yeah.
why we have it
I don't
downstairs.
That's all you think.
I
It's
It's
like
the
top
one
floor.
room that you don't want anyone to go into.
I was on
Yeah.
the top floor.
But I like
Yeah,
what Dominic's
like-
doing.
I'm not
He's
coming
folding that
downstairs.
into his upstairs.
Yeah, because
Which
you don't
makes
want anyone to
complete
go in
sense.
there.
All the boys on the top
and then
floor,
all you're
so-
doing is bringing all the clothes from
To bring
downstairs,
back up again.
and then you're bringing it all the way upstairs again. Like
I'm not doing that.
even if it's a sunny day, like we live in England, the chance of it being a sunny day.
I guess it was from back in the day when you did put
used to
clothes
hang
on the line.
Yeah,
So you
there's-
wouldn't want to do your
then there's
laundry
a-
upstairs because you still got to come outside. with
Yeah,
it.
that
So
makes
Yeah,
sense.
but with the
it
volume
makes
of
sense
kids,
from
the
back in
clothes that
day.
my kids go through, even if it's like
I remember
50
laundry,
degrees
a laundry
outside.
room wasn't a thing in the
You used to wash it
day.
outside.
'Cause you
on
washed-
the little.
You washed in the
Scrubber
bath.
too.
Yeah.
Well, they used to, you know, in the early days, my mum would have a scrubbing brush in the
Yeah.
bath. So your sheets, you'd do them in the
Yeah.
bath, and then you'd wring them and bring them outside. But that's the only reason why you had upstairs. Then washing machines came
How
in.
often did you guys used to do washing back then? Because
Every
to be
week.
washing like that every couple of days is
every
long.
week, yeah.
It
Listen,
must
I
have been
don't
way
even
better.
know
They
how
would have a wash
anyone.
day.
I don't know
Okay.
how anyone
So
with more
maybe
than 2
your
children.
Saturday was wash day.
Listen,
It's
if I
laundry
waited
day.
till Saturday,
Like, that pile is like
listen,
That's your whole
it
Saturday
looked like
gone, you know?
that's that. It looked like I don't even know.
Yeah,
I
but
wouldn't
we
leave.
didn't change clothes like that. You know, when you went to school,
yeah, of course. That's you went out
you
for the
hung
week.
My
up
kids
your
go to
school
school.
clothes.
My kids go to school, and
no,
they
we had
still.
to. No, it was in your head that you kept yourself clean.
You
You, had to
better.
keep your
You had
school
their voice
clothes
in it.
clean. Yeah, you had to keep your school clothes clean. And then that was your clothes, and you know, when you came home, you took them off immediately, hung
Yeah.
them up, put your
Look, we still do that now.
yard clothes on.
We still do that now.
Yeah.
Go upstairs,
So
take clothes off when
We
you get home.
weren't changing
It's like-
outfits every minute. You didn't have outfits.
You're not
to
running around
change.
till
In
bedtime
fact,
in your
you
school
didn't
clothes.
want anyone
Well, I
to
make
come round and
them.
catch
I make
you.
them go and put their pajamas straight on,
Mm.
so that you know we're not now change your clothes and then change your clothes again.
Yeah.
So go upstairs, have your shower, put your pajamas on, come
Yeah.
back down.
Mm.
But yeah, no, I don't know how anyone in this day and age doesn't have a tumble dryer and you have that many children.
Some
Yeah.
people don't.
I
so.
can't. I can barely
Some
keep up
people
with the
having to
tumble
cope
dryer
without
going, the
that.
washing machine.
Our
I
tumble
actually
dryer
want. I want
packed up now
another
'cause it's
washing
so much
machine, and I
washing.
want another tumble dryer.
Yeah.
I actually want 2 going at the same time, just so I can actually get my life back, because laundry is the bane of my life.
Yeah.
It's a lot.
And
innit?
it's like
Well,
just
for the
when
two
you
of us,
finish,
we have the 2 dryers, 2 washers,
Mm.
because you got your bedding going on and you know everything. And I wash several times a week. I don't just. I hate to see the laundry basket.
It's packed up.
For,
yeah.
No. So
I
as
think
soon
I
as it-
actually do a load of washing at least once a day.
Yeah, I think you have to because
Yeah, at least once
even
a
with
day.
especially with the baby as well. It's like
Yeah.
bibs and
You get through a
muslins
lot
and
of
clothes
stuff.
and
Yeah. But trauma,
yeah.
getting over trauma. There was
Trauma
I
to
wouldn't-
tumble
There
dryers,
was a
boy.
movie. There was a true movie.
And island benches.
There was a true movie that we watched this week. It might have been this week. We watched, and it was a young girl. It was a black family. It was a true story. I'll tell you what. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. Forget the actress who starred in it. But this family moved into this. They moved away from the area that they were living in because you know it was one of those type of areas. So they moved into this pretty much white suburban area, thinking that's a safe place, great environment to raise your children. And so they were very keen on introducing their kids to other teenagers or young people.
This is a true story.
Yeah, so they
Okay.
could make friends in the area. So they had this party. I guess they had some friends or neighbours and people over. And so the daughter met up with some of the local children. So, you know, the oldest daughter, she just turned 16. So she wanted to go for a sleepover. And as you would do, I would do, no, why don't you have your friends to come over? And she's like, don't you trust me, Mum? She's like, I trust you, but I don't trust them. I don't know them. I don't know their parents. So let's have a sleepover. So She had like 3 friends come over for a sleepover. So she's 15, just turned 16. So when the mum like said her last goodnight, went off up to bed, then they were dressed underneath their pajamas. So she's like, "What are you doing?" She's like, "They're like, we're sneaking out. We do this all the time." So she's never done this before. So they're like, "Go get your clothes." So they've already dressed to go. So she goes and listens to them, and she's trying to take the alarm off because the parents have put the alarm on the house, and she's getting it wrong. So the little sister comes and catches her and like, "What are you lot doing?" And anyway, the sister said to her, "One more attempt is going to set the whole house off. Then you're going to be in trouble." So she puts her birth date in, and fortunately it was right. So they sneak off, go to a party. She meets this boy, and he tries to kiss her, and she's like, "No." And so she decides, the others are like partying, so she decides, "I'm going to go home." But she's new to the area, so she doesn't know her way around. So she starts walking. And so this woman pulls over, this Chinese, Asian-looking woman pulls over. "What are you doing out here on the street?" Da, da, da. And she's got like a baby chair in the back of her car. So she's like, "Jump in, I'll drop you home." And she's like, no, I shouldn't. She's like, because it's a woman and she's looking in the car and she sees a baby seat, so she feels, okay, it's safe. So she gets in the car, and the woman's like, "I'm a mom. I've always got drinks and food in my car because, the kids." So she's like, "Do you want a cookie?" So she gives her a cookie and she gives her a drink, going back to what you lot were talking about earlier on. And it's a drug. And she's like, "What's happening to me? I feel dizzy." And she wakes up. When she does wake up, she's in this bedroom that the door's locked. And the whole trauma was that this woman picks girls like that up and they put them straight into prostitution. So this man comes in, this big grown man comes in, and because she's freaking out now, she's come back to herself and she's screaming and everything. And he comes in and he talks to her and he tells her basically, "This is going to be your life now." And so then they don't show anything. They just show him undoing his trousers. Yeah. And then it cuts to that other scene. So then the mother's like, "Where's my daughter?" But the whole thing was they put her into prostitution, and they would bring men to the house, and men were coming. And there was one that his thing was beat you up first.
What's this called?
I'll find out the name of it. So but then they put them on drugs to get that dependency and to calm them down.
So even if they run, they come back.
And the mum is just like, she's like doing everything. The police were totally rubbish. You're going to waste police resources because she'll probably be home in a few days. And she was gone for months.
Oh my God.
And I think it was about 9 or 10 months or something like that. And the mum, she'd done everything. She would drive the streets at night. The father was rubbish in all of this. She would drive the streets at night looking for her. She'd done everything, posters all over the place. And then one day she just sat down at a computer and she started going through like these websites, where that, and she saw the picture of her daughter on this website, like posed in this position. And so she tells her husband, and they phone them to say, like, they're celebrating this certain anniversary and they want to do something different. Can we hire her? Yeah. So they agree to bring the girl. So they come off a bus and she sees her daughter. So I was a mess watching this. But she gets a hold of the daughter, gets her in the car. And they take her home, but she's not the same. She's not the same. She's 16, but she's had so much happen to her, and she gets her home. But because she's the drug addiction, she climbs out the window and runs away to go back to this man. Yeah. And she was smart. She said she put tracking devices in everything, in her bag, in her shoes, in all of her stuff. So they found out the address. So she was able, and the police raided it, and that's how she got them back. So her way of working through the trauma, because it wasn't just for the daughter that was went through that, but the little sisters, like now she's lost her older sister because she's come back a different person. It's affected the whole, because as a mother, I don't know what state I'd be in, knowing this was happening with your child. Because there was one day she phoned her mom, and she I don't know where she got a mobile phone from. She's phoning her mum, and at that moment, this man comes in, and the mum could hear everything going on, and he's hitting her and slapping her around, and she was just like told. But it was just, they turned it around by going around to all the schools and warning kids about the dangers of. It could be a really nice area, but there are weirdos like that man that
one person to drive past you.
It was like saw this girl, and this woman must do this all the time. Go and get me another girl. And he had a gun as well, so he was like threatening them, if you don't comply, I'm going to shoot you. But it was like, how do you rebuild your life where you've had all of that happen, you know? And I say that to say that whatever's happened to you, don't remain a victim of that individual, that situation, that circumstance. Take the pen back, begin to write your story again, begin to write what you see for your future. Yes, we were dreaming about what we would do if we had X amount of money. But yeah, it's fun, but it's good to have something to look forward to.
Yeah.
It's not for now, but have a plan, make a plan how you're going to go forward, and stop living it as a victim in whatever's happened to you, whatever that might be. Don't live in that victim mode. Get up, put your life back together, and begin to do things. Have a visual, build a visual. We were building a visual just now. This is, you know, we want to have a farm, we want to grow our own vegetables, have our own. It's visuals, and it's okay to do that. It's okay to do that.
Well, I think for I mean, we're being very silly and very extreme. Like the reality is, we're probably never going to see 500 million.
Yeah.
Most people won't in their life. But what we do as a family is we do that on a much smaller scale. So like we like get like a hat, and we put in, everyone chooses the country that they want to go to, and then they draw out of the hat, and then we work towards that for the whole year. So whether it's Bali or Barbados or whatever, like, and then we, you know, as a family, we're like, okay, that's our vision, that's our goal. Like we want to like go on holiday or whatever, like, you know, like even like I love the fact that, you know, in the family group, Dom, like you posted like taking the kids to the house, and those are memories. That's what I thought when I saw that, like, you know, where they're running around. I remember Maya and Kayla, we took them back to our first property that we renovated, and you know, it's much smaller than the house we have, and they're like, can we move back in? Because they have the memory of it being taken back to a shell and then built back to this, and their memories. And then we went to the back gate. And an idea for you, when they were laying the concrete, I got them all to do their handprints, and then we wrote their names in it. So till this day, like they remembered it. So they pushed away all the leaves, and they saw, and they were like, that must have been you, Ezra, because you were the smallest, and that must have been you, Kayla. And they were putting their hands on top, and it's all of those things that, like, okay, we might not have 500 million, but we can include our kids, and we can build amazing memories now. But we have to live in today, and we have to like set goals that are achievable. And like I say to people, like, count the small wins. You know, like it might be like, if you struggle with mental health, or you struggle with depression, or you struggle with anxiety, it might be that you're not trying to like do a whole year of not being anxious. It might be, today's gonna be a good day, and today I'm gonna make a decision that I'm going to be happy today, and I'm going to do something that's going to make me happy today. I'm going to go for a walk in the park, or I'm going to, you know, cook a nice meal, whatever. Take every day as a step, but every day you'll step in. Does that make sense? Like, rather than trying to exactly, because you know,
as anything, like you want to make a change in your, you know, your weight or your gym. It's like,
one day at a time.
You're not going to lose 10 kg tomorrow.
Yeah,
you chisel away at it every day. So yeah, I agree. Just like break the cycle of, you know, bringing it, like dragging the past with you, or living in the past always. And when it does come up, use it as motivation.
And train yourself not to dwell on it. Every time the thought comes up, replace it. Find something positive to replace that thought. So you're not sitting there and you've like 5 hours later, you're still meditating on that. So life is out there. Let's live it. While you have health, you've got strength, get out there and live it.
Oh, definitely. Thank you, guys. Another episode. I don't know what this one's going to be called.
I don't know. The kind of everything episode, a bit of everything.
Anyway, thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Bye.